Welcome back to Red Rank Podcast. I'm your host, The Crow Show, home of the smoothest voice on Twitch. I'm once again joined by another incredible content creator who specializes in Dead by Daylight. I'm here with Wispurx, whose pronouns are he, him, is an absolutely fantastic Dead by Daylight content creator. You'll probably see Wispurx show up on your For You page, hitting some crazy across the map hatchet shots and juicing killers. Just an all around really good Dead by Daylight player and content creator. And I would say specializes in creating a safe space and welcoming space for people in the community. And it's not just for like a certain group, it's for everybody, right? So Wispurx, welcome in. How you doing today?
I'm great, dude. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm doing well. I'm a bit tired. I've had I've had a hell week from work, so I'm just like, I'm a little tired, but here we are. Isn't that all of us though, right? Like whatever
Right.
you're doing. How do you manage that kind of, because like the things that people don't see behind the scenes, what are you doing to recoup your energy and like find that balance of, okay, well, my stream's over, but I've got to create content as well. I got to edit, I got to tweet.
I'm so sporadic about how I do that stuff. I mean, I feel more confident when I have a lot of stuff prepared in advance. So like, let's say we're talking about TikTok. I'll grab like as many clips as I can that are clipped from my page. Mm-hmm. And I also clip things myself. I have like a foot pedal.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I didn't know
USB
that.
foot pedal that it's a hotkey to record my OBS replay buffer.
No way. That's really smart.
So between all that, I'll get like a whole bunch of clips downloaded and batch them, edit them. My TikToks aren't like overly edited, but then I'll like schedule them out like 2 weeks so I can just like breathe again.
Yeah. That's awesome. The foot pedal, do you talk about that a lot on your stream?
Yeah, it's kind of a meme. Like I'll like hit like a across the map hatchet, and one of my mods will be like, "Did you slam your foot pedal down?"
That's hilarious. Slam it, break it. Foot cam when? I guess that'll be the next question for people. Oh, that's TOS, right? It's crossing to the danger zone. I was checking your Twitch page, and your frequently asked questions. You've got a very cool blue fire ghost character, and the answer you have there is like, who's the blue fire ghost character? And you said his name is Nimbus. I originally had him drawn as a cute version of Willow the Wisp, a misleading light of guidance, but instead he's a positive light. So can you tell me how you came up with that, and how is that just subconscious now with creating that positivity in your community?
Oh, he like way back when I like first started getting into streaming and all this other stuff. I like didn't know anything about branding, and I didn't even know like what direction I was going to go. But I had always liked like the Willow the Wisp tales and all that good stuff, because like that's all made up, but it's fascinating. And so one day I like contacted an emote artist. This was like over 3 years ago, and she's still my emote artist.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like, hey, like I sent her like an example image of like, it was like a really detailed like spooky version. I was like, what if you made this but cute?
Oh, cool.
And she made it, and I had a couple emotes, and we just kind of called him like Wisp. That's what we called him. Because my name's Wispurx.
Yeah.
And one day we like named him, we gave him an actual name, and he's like, God, I couldn't imagine having my stream and branding without him now.
Yeah.
He's just like such a part of like, when you think Wispurx, you also see Nimbus.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I think of that too. Cause like I'll be, whether it's your TikToks or your tweets, that's like in the back of my head, like the little blue dude. No, like that's so cool. Because not everybody has that, right? And I think that's a really cool thing you have going for you. And I think it's amazing. Excuse me. How did you get started with charity work? Do you remember how that started, and what got you excited about that?
My first charity stream was a year ago. I was approached by somebody who was working with Stack Up at the time.
Okay.
And they said like, hey, are you interested in doing this? We can make anything work. Like, let's get something started. And I was on an old stream team back then. that I'm not on anymore, but
Mm-hmm.
back then when I was approached, we took the idea of raising money for Stack Up, and we like however many it was of us, we planned out where we would all stream for 2 weeks straight. Like not like individually, but like on
Oh, yeah.
Sunday, this person was live raising money. On Monday, this
Mm-hmm.
person was live raising money. And we like raised $5,000.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, that's cool. Like that, it like didn't really hit me yet that charity streaming was like effective and how much impact it can have.
Oh, yeah.
Until I got like it sent a care package out with like a PS4 and a whole bunch of games
Mm-hmm.
to someone who was like out on service.
Oh, no way.
And then like they like I can't remember his name right now, but they sent me back pics, his name,
Mm-hmm.
and how much he's enjoying it. And I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like that's really cool how much impact it can have.
That's amazing. It's a good feeling. I've dabbled in some charity work, and Wounded Warrior Project is an organization I've worked with in the past. And yeah, they do really cool things. Like they'll tell you about the programs that they're running. Like they help um, retired veterans, get clothes for like job interviews, and gaming systems to help them, help them with passing the time. And because we all love to play games, right? So it's really amazing. And that leads me into my next thing I wanted to talk about. Can you talk about Horizon Onward and how y'all got that started, and like where you want to go with that?
Oh my god, we want Horizon Onward to be like bigger than the sum of its parts. You know what I
Nice.
mean?
Yeah.
Pixel and I started talking about that back in April, and we've
Okay.
been working on it since, coming up with like how we want to launch it, all the plans we have. So we're doing our first. We want to do charity streams, but also events. Because like I really like to host Dead by Daylight events here and
Yeah.
there.
Hmm.
Yeah, right. We want to like take that idea and then add like the value of charity to
Yeah.
try and do something like really big.
Oh, yeah.
And we're thinking like doing of one like 4 times a year.
Hmm.
So like one in the winter, one in the spring,
Yeah.
so on and so on. And
Yeah.
we think that like if as long as we play the cards right, hype things up, we can collectively raise a lot of money for these
That's
different
amazing.
charities.
That's super cool. I think that's really great. I saw y'all when you were sending the tweets out about that. I was just like super excited because that's something you love to see in the space. Because like let's take the viewpoint of somebody who's not like really into Twitch, like somebody um the kind of person who's like, oh, you watch people play video games on the internet? That's weird, like. But what if you were able to say, hey, we raised X amount of money for this charity this
Right? Yeah.
winter? And how cool
Me
is
and my
that?
streaming buddies, we raised $10,000 for
Yeah.
mental health awareness. Like,
Yeah.
wow, that's like it like paints a easier picture to see for those outside of like the streaming space.
Oh yeah, exactly. How do you handle that when people outside of the Twitch community ask you about, or maybe you're forced to bring it up because you might be in a social situation when people are like, so what do you do for fun, or what do you do for living? And you're like, I play this game called Dead by Daylight. And,
Yeah.
How does that go for you?
It goes one of two ways. Like,
Yeah.
they'll either be like, wow, that's really cool. That's cool that you get to do something that you enjoy, and
Mm-hmm.
that all that stuff. And then the other people are like, huh, okay, yeah, right, sure. And then like we move on.
Yeah. It's always interesting, right? Because people don't. I was one of those people. I didn't get it. Like my brother, years and years and years ago, I was stuck in bed recovering from minor surgery, and he's like, you should set up a Twitch account and just watch Summit 1G. And he's playing PUBG. He's like, you love PUBG. I think you would enjoy it. But I was like, I'm not going to watch some nerd play video games online. I'll play video games myself. I was like that person who's like, I'm not going to watch sports. I'm going to play sports, but video game version. But 2-3 weeks later of me just staring at the ceiling and being very bored, I signed up on Twitch and basically fell in love right away. And
Mhm.
it's been a fun journey. Do you remember who you watched when you first started on Twitch?
Well, so like my account is technically from the Justin TV days.
Oh, it is, eh? Wow.
Yeah. But like I didn't really watch anybody back then. Like
Yeah.
back then, I was really into Guitar Hero and stuff.
Okay.
So I was like, what if I like showed this to other people?
Yeah.
And like I only streamed like twice way back. That was like so
Oh,
freaking
yeah.
long ago.
Yeah.
But since then, like I like didn't really pay attention to Twitch and all that good stuff. But for the longest time, even like since way before Dead by Daylight, I was always into a game called Old School RuneScape.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't know how one way or another, but I ended up on some like of the bigger streamers in that category.
Okay.
Like it's like the first people I subbed to. I'd like watch.
Yeah.
I'd show up like every day and
Oh,
just
no
like
way.
see like how they're progressing their accounts, and
Yeah.
that's what I streamed for like at least a whole year without really ever going anywhere. But I enjoyed
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I missed that train. I think at the time I didn't have a computer, so I didn't play old school RuneScape, and I didn't know anybody. I was really into like Call of Duty and like NHL on the Xbox 360, and I'd be in those lobbies insulting people's mothers and their dogs and stuff, and
Right.
telling them the nasty things I'm about to do to so and so, and just being a real goofball.
Trash talking for literally no reason.
Yeah, no reason. Doesn't get me any further in life. All it does is stress you out and yeah, gets you nowhere. um I was also going to ask you too, because I know you're going through the applications for the team. So how's that going, and how's that response been?
So we're gonna get together soon. So we have 162 applications.
Wow.
And we decided way in advance that we're gonna get up to 12 people.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be so difficult.
Oh yeah.
To only pick 12, because like I've skimmed through them. There's so many cool people in there.
Yeah.
There's so many people that like I like. It's gonna be a group effort, and everybody everybody in a leadership position in High Horizon Onward has a say.
Yeah.
But I can like look at those apps and pick 50 people I already know are a good fit.
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna be really hard.
Yeah.
But with that being said, like to everybody that gets denied, it's not reflective of your content or you, because you get. I mean, honestly, with that many apps and how few we're picking, you could be a perfect fit and get denied.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that's really. And the thing is, I think that your approach and the way you're going to be, telling people you made it, you didn't make it. Like, I think even the people who applied and may not get in, just because it's the way it works, right? Like it's just a strict numbers game at that point. I think they'll be very understanding, and but I don't envy your position in that respect. That's got to be tough.
it's gonna be it's probably gonna be the most difficult part of being like a team owner.
Yeah.
But once we get past that, then it's like the tournament planning, and then all of us are going to be live and raising the money.
Cool.
So it's going to be so great.
Fun. That'll be fun.
Just got to get through the hard part.
Yeah. Can you talk about your experience with Light in the Fog this year? How was that? And I saw a clip where you were like, who was it? Tofu and somebody else commenting on
Scott.
Play. Yeah. How was that?
So I had no idea what I was getting into. I mean, when Light in the Fog contacts you and says like, "Hey, do you want to play?" Yeah, you say yes. Like,
oh, totally, yeah, yeah.
And so I had no idea what I was getting into, and I got matched with like some of the coolest people. My teammates were Ghost Arcade, Astra,
okay,
Hext, and Val.
Okay,
Which,
cool.
Playing with them alone was a blast, but then also like all the challenges we had to do.
Yeah.
Like gen tapping and other nonsense.
Oh, what challenges did you get? Or do you remember?
Like
what
the first game we had to
one?
complete a gen by only gen tapping.
Oh.
And we had like the worst strat ever. We like all loaded in, saw the first gen. We were like, all right, that's the one we're doing.
Yeah.
And Astra killed us all.
Oh, that's funny.
When I played Killer, their challenge was to get a power struggle on me. But their ping was so bad. I walked through like 2 pallets and the pallet would fall behind me.
No
and
way.
not stun me. Which just added to the fun.
Oh yeah. Oh totally. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah.
And of course, like with it being such for a good cause and all that.
Yeah.
Like Poppers has had one of the biggest impacts on the community.
Oh, 100%. That was the nice thing about watching the event. I would tune in when I could, and everybody was having a good time, and it was just really good vibes. And I could tell the people who were in the chat as well were really excited. And part of what I really enjoyed was opening up like 5 tabs and having like each streamer in a tab, and then the main channel in a tab, and just like bouncing between the different viewpoints and stuff. So that was really cool. Um, Now, I noticed recently on your Twitter, you posted about how Bubba is one of the most fun killers to play against.
Oh,
Do you have any regrets about having fun while playing Dead by Daylight?
yeah, I know. I was like, hey, I enjoyed this thing, and people were like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Um,
What were the responses like?
oh my god, people like, all the trolls come out once a tweet goes like even semi-viral,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a lot of people like really judging you for like
Yeah.
enjoying that, but at the end of the day, it's a video game, and like you should be enjoying playing the video game, even
Yeah.
like in the bad moments.
Oh yeah.
Like if I get camped by Bubba, I think it's hilarious.
Oh totally. Yeah.
Like they're hitting you on hook, and you
Mhm.
just make big memes out of it rather than get mad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. The thing is, like, a moment like that, it's a compliment to you, right? Because
Mhm.
Bubba doesn't want to chase you again because you probably took him on a good run, and
Right, you earned that.
yeah, oh, totally, yeah, it's like a badge of honor, right? You're just like, all right, achievement unlocked. Upset a Bubba.
Until all the your teammates come down and throw.
That too, that does happen. I remember one time versus the Legion, I traded hooks with somebody, and I was like, well, we've got Boon Circle of healing up. They'll go reset, and we'll go 4 out. So I traded because they were on struggle, and they were nearly at the end. So I traded with them, and then they all just pieced out, and I was like, oh wow, go, it's Legion, y'all! Like,
Oh, this
what?
is so easy.
I know. And I was like, I was a little upset, but I was like, well, how can I be? It's just funny. Like and I think that's the other thing people need to consider too, is just like recognizing as something's happening. It's like, well, that could just be content, right? Like
Yeah, I mean, like what you just said. Like, I feel like an average player would get really upset by that,
mhm.
but it's
Yeah.
easier just to like make light of it.
Oh, totally. Yeah. On the topic of Bubba making light of things, I remember one time I was playing Insidious Bubba against a really smart team. It's Insidious Bubba's not hard to beat, but I didn't get a single down the entire time. I just they would jump through windows, drop pallets and stuff. It was just one of those games, you get 0 hooks. But I did injure a Fang, and I was like, Insidious Bubba at the open exit gate. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna hide here. And she's gonna run by, I'm gonna smack her, I'm gonna put her on a hook. And this was during old Dead Hard days. So
Oh no.
she's running by, and I go to hit her, and she dead hards past me and escapes. And I was like, no, I just started laughing. Like it was a funny moment. And I posted it on TikTok, and I'm laughing at myself, right? I'm just like, oh no, like, oh, it's so annoying. I was like, oh, Dead Hard, I'll get you one of these days. And people got mad at me for posting that. They're like, skill issue. That's what you get for playing Bubba.
Yeah, skill issue because she had E, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's funny you said Insidious, because I think Insidious is such a cool perk when you're like not camping the basement with it.
Oh yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
you use it like to try and do something in chase, or you
Oh,
wait
yeah.
somewhere else for someone to come by.
Yeah.
You never see any of that stuff. When you think Insidious, you think Bubba in the basement.
Oh yeah. 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 And in that one, I tried the different thing. Like I was like, oh, I'm gonna stand right by this gen, and they're gonna come and get it. And I'm gonna just scare them. And they never went to that generator. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to this one, and then they did, and I fumbled, and it's just a nightmare. One of those rounds. But yeah, playing non-basement Insidious Bubba is super fun. I love doing that stuff. Do you ever use Insidious on other killers?
I can't remember the last time I ran it. I remember having a clip maybe a little while ago where it was like a random build, and it was on Bubba, and it had Insidious,
Mhm.
but I was running like Overcharge or something, and the survivors knew.
Right.
So what I tried was I kicked this gen with Overcharge, so they, it creates a sense of urgency to tap the
Oh,
gen.
yeah.
But I'm hiding around the corner with Insidious.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as soon as I hear him coming over to tap the gen, I just come out of the corner revving, and somebody DCs for it.
No way, really?
That's all it takes.
that's why is that so funny when people DC? It's just the funniest thing.
Like I could be running way worse stuff.
Oh yeah. It's Insidious Bubba, y'all chill. Just piggybacking off like the conversation we're having right now. It's a bit of a two-parter because like I wanted to ask you, do you receive much, quote unquote hate or negative energy through your content? Because like outside of star streams, I think you might be like the nicest human in this space. So do you get a lot of like backlash from people?
No, really, like the worst I get would be like in an end game chat when I play killer,
Oh, okay.
or in TikTok comments, which I'm sure you're used to.
Yeah, some
People just love to be
12-year-old.
hateful on TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah.
But beyond that, honestly, no,
Not a
really.
lot, eh? That's cool. I think that's amazing because there's one thing I've learned recently. This community just never forgets, and it doesn't matter what you've done in the past, how small it might be, how long ago it might be. And I've learned that through watching other content creators as well. It's like people just want to hold on to things and just like use stuff as ammo against me, and it's the weirdest thing.
One gripe I have, like
Yeah.
I think the DVD community is great. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
I guess if I have like one gripe, it's how judged you can be, like as a person and a creator,
Mhm.
for how you play the game.
Yeah.
Be it you're a survivor or killer or whatever you're doing, if people disagree with your play style, they will dislike you as a person.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's like the worst thing ever.
Yeah. It's bizarre, right? Like it's like, hey, wait, you didn't read the survivor handbook that says you have to do this. Like,
All right, you camped me, so I don't like you, or you gen rushed me, so I don't like you.
yeah.
Like it's just a game, whether you didn't have fun or not.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had a weird interaction with a survivor who escaped, and they were upset that I was bad at the game.
Love a
And I'm
sore winner.
yeah, it's like, and I was legit like at the end, I was like, oh yeah, good game, you guys played well, and then she's like, you suck, get good, noob, and all what, like, chill, dude.
like what do you expect from this?
Yeah, what's the end game? And the funny thing is, like, the person's friends, they were in a 3-stack, they actually apologized on his behalf, and I was like, maybe don't have a friend like that who's going to be rude all the time, because they're
Right,
like,
or at least point it out to him, like,
yeah, because
that
they were like,
behavior's kind of yikes, right?
yeah, because they're like, yeah, he does this with everybody. I'm like, yeah, maybe don't do that with everybody, just you guys won. And I had no slowdowns, I was just going for cool shots with, oh yeah, speaking of Huntress, your Huntress clips are, I think, on another level, and I think we all really enjoy seeing that on our For You page on TikTok or on your Twitch streams. Can you talk about your relationship with Huntress and how you started playing Huntress, and we're like, hey, this is a thing of mine, and I'm going to make it a thing of mine?
It's funny, because I never really, I never had like a click moment where I was like, I'm a Huntress main now.
Yeah.
So I have 6,000 hours in Dead by Daylight.
Okay.
And probably for like my first 1 or 2, I was a straight up killer main.
Mm.
Like I like didn't touch Survivor back then.
Oh really? Wow.
And so I like kind of just played whoever, with some Huntress mixed in, but played whoever. And then I got like, a clip or two where I'd hit a shot, which shots that like don't compare to some of the ones I'm hitting now.
Right.
They would just like be as simple as like, over a rock.
Oh yeah.
And I would like lose my mind. I'm like, this is like the greatest feeling ever. And so I'm like slowly playing more Huntress, and then I'm slowly playing more Huntress, and then next day I open my eyes and I'm like doing whole streams of Huntress.
Oh cool. Yeah, Huntress is one of the most fun killers to watch. That's probably how I discovered Umbra, because I was like
Mm.
checking the directory. I was like, oh, cool, Huntress gameplay. And yeah, I don't know what it is. I love watching good hatchet throws. And yeah, when your content pops up on my feed, it's always fun to watch. Um, do you like any other killers? Are there any other killers you're really like really into and want to get good at kind of thing?
I consider myself like able to play any killer at an
Yeah.
okay level,
Mm-hmm.
but I really think, I mean, I think my best killer is Blight, which
Okay.
Blight is like already, I mean, he's a monster, so that's kind of
Yeah.
a given. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I play Huntress for fun. I'm
Mm-hmm.
really just there to like hit cool shots and have a good time.
Yeah.
But if I like need to win a game, like I'm in an event or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Blight's my killer.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, like I like Oni, Pyramid Head, Trapper, Clown. Those are the ones
Nice.
I like Nurse, and I'm an okay Nurse, but I kind of like don't play her much because
Oh.
you know why.
The mob will take you down.
Yeah.
It's yeah, if you even say nurse in a tweet or in a Twitch chat, it's over for you. And
Yeah. Messed up.
yeah, I even have a weirdo friend who likes playing against nurse. I'm like, you're weird. Why? I should just block you. And it's pretty but yeah, it's interesting how that works, right? Like, yeah, nurse is incredibly strong, and you have to be somewhat proficient to play with nurse though, and there is a skill cap, and there is a reason why her kill rate's so low, is because most of us try and fail with nurse.
I find a
um
lot of the time with Nurse, like not every single nurse you run into is a god, right?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
like even with me, like I think I'm like not bad. I'm no
Hmm.
god, but I'm not bad.
Yeah.
And I'll like do my first blink and someone's DC'd. Or
Yeah.
like, they kill themselves, like they walk up to them, they walk up to me and they're waving,
Oh yeah.
like, here, get me out of the game. Like you don't even know
Yeah.
how good I am yet. You don't know
Yeah.
what perks I'm running.
Yeah.
You don't know what my add-ons are.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Like just give it a
It's
chance.
yeah, I like doing that. Like I'll admit, against a good nurse, I don't like playing against good nurse. I'll just
Mhm.
move on to the next one. But if it's a nurse like me who's maybe not that great, I'll give them a chance. I'll give them somebody to chase and get some practice in. And especially if I notice it's like somebody who's either got like a nurse daily or they're trying to learn nurse, like I'll just stop doing gens and I'll like run around either looking for her or like loot chests and cleanse totems and stuff, because I'm like, let's give this person some practice. um, One thing I like asking people too, especially because Dead by Daylight is your main game. Um, how you feeling about the game right now, and are you feeling any fatigue at all, or how do you manage that?
um I think the game's at a great spot,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like
Hmm.
I know I'm like a optimistic, try to see the good in everything kind of
Hmm.
person, but it's more balanced now than it ever has been.
Yeah.
Granted, it has a long ways to go, and who knows if it can ever be fully balanced with its
Yeah.
nature. But
Oh yeah.
it's in such a good spot.
Hmm.
Um, Man, but the double BP, like the Halloween event,
Oh yeah.
the sweats come out.
Oh, you think so, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, and like so, if I have any fatigue, it's from the event.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
people, man, like whether you're playing killer or survivors, games can be tough.
Oh yeah, yeah. I experienced that last week. I had about legitimately 14 games in a row as killer where I just didn't have a chance. I got like maybe 5 hooks and that was it. I was like, wow. I'm like, I'm trying chase builds, I'm trying 4 slowdowns, and like I'm just getting destroyed.
The irony that like people are so worried about winning in like
Yeah.
double BP that
Yeah.
like they'll end the game as fast as possible. Like the
Oh, yeah.
survivors will like slam gens get out, or the killer will
Yeah.
like try to slug everybody, and then they get no blood points in the first place.
Oh,
It doesn't even
exactly.
make any sense.
Yeah, that's what I don't get either, because yeah, you notice when when you get one of those games where you've got maybe 4 or 5 hooks and all the gens are fixed, And then you get somebody down and they get altruistic and you keep trading hooks and you're like, wait a minute, the blood points are going up for all of us because
Mm-hmm.
we're trading hooks. I'm landing hits. I'm downing people. I'm putting survivors on hooks. You're getting saves. You're healing people. It's like your survival and your altruism, your bold are all going up. Like, why can't you see this?
God, I cannot help myself but get altruistic end
Yeah.
game. I mean, partially because it's more content than just leaving.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
it's just, I can't help myself. I'm trying.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And I remember I have a screenshot somewhere where I have a 4-stack who they all brought bloody party streamers, but they all brought like Commodious Toolbox with like brand new part and like charges and hyper focus. And I think they either had 3 or 4 prove thyself. They just wanted to fix, and they did. They fixed Jans in like 5-6 minutes and they were gone. And I was like,
Right. And they all got 15K points.
yeah, congrats on your 15K trial, dude. It's just why bother with the bloody party streamers? And I guess that's part of the what I struggle with this game on a probably daily basis is just I think we all come in with different expectations, right? Like me playing Huntress, I'm like, okay, I'll go for cool shots versus I don't know it, but one of these people are super rude and they're going to talk trash to me afterwards, even after they escape. And, um, you know, some people are like, oh, I just want to go for flashlight saves. I want to go for flashbang saves. I want to heal my teammates. I want to be the medic of the team and all these different expectations. And they all come together sometimes in a really weird way in in-game chat. And I struggle with that.
Right. Some people are like they're like super fixated on just getting as many blood points as possible.
Yeah.
Some people are only focused on like winning or losing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, solo survivors, they're only concerned about themselves escaping.
Oh yeah.
Rather than being a team. And
yeah.
And then there's like the killer side of things where like some killers just want blood points, some killers want X amount of kills, some killers want just like a decent amount of hooks. I don't care how many kills.
Yeah.
And like you said, everybody's got a different expectation.
Yeah, it's true. Now this is one thing I usually look into, but I do apologize. I didn't look into it prior to us starting, but have you streamed anything else in the past? Or because as long as I've known you, it's always been Dead by Daylight, but like, is there other games you like to dip your toes into?
Honestly, I'm just so used to streaming Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
It takes a lot for me to try something else on stream. It really does.
It does, eh? Yeah.
So I kind of really I save other games for off stream most of the time.
Oh, cool. What are you playing these days?
Call of the Lamb came out.
Oh, that's a great game.
And man, that game is addicting.
It is.
Oh my God. Like as soon as I started it, I couldn't put it down until I beat it.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah. I didn't get that far, but I put about 6 hours in the first time I played it. Such a great game.
Then I've always been off and on with OSRS, Old School RuneScape.
Yeah.
Like, I'll have a kick of playing it all the time. Then I need to cool. Then I don't play it for a while.
Yeah.
That's how that game goes. And
cool.
And then the new Pokemon games are coming out soon.
Oh, cool.
Which I'm super excited for.
Oh, nice. And you like to save stuff like that for off stream kind of thing.
I'm telling myself that I'm going to try the Pokemon games on stream.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll like start streams with some DBD and then switch over and just like see the vibes, see how it goes.
Yeah. It's tough, right? If you like just even the idea of trying something else outside of Dead by Daylight, it doesn't matter what size you are. Like I've seen people at the very top and they're like, yeah, I'd love to stream, Elden Ring, but I just can't because I'm here playing Dead by Daylight every day. And it's one of those things, right? Like sometimes I feel stuck. All the time I feel stuck in Dead by Daylight. And I think a lot of people feel that same way. And
yeah, like so there's like variety streamers who can stream something new every day.
And
then there's us who are like in this DVD hole. I mean, that's kind of like a negative way of saying it, but like the thought of streaming something else is difficult. And a lot of people get wrapped up in like, I'll have like way less viewers if I'll stream something else, which to that means more to some than others. For me, like one of my personal problems with streaming anything else is like I don't know how to like stream it. Like I don't know how to commentate it.
Yeah. Oh,
like
yeah.
If I were to like play Elden Ring on stream, I'd be like, what the heck do I say?
Yeah. It's like get good, nerd.
I worry about not being entertaining enough a lot.
Oh yeah.
And so the thought of streaming something else just makes that like 10 times worse in my head.
Oh, totally. And it is tough. And people who do variety, I've got a ton of respect for them because it is so much different if you were to stream Dead by Daylight and then stream, Cult of the Lamb or Elden Ring or Overwatch, Call of Duty, like
Stardew Valley.
Yeah, Stardew Valley. Yeah, and there's people who do all of those things.
Like, especially games like that, like all those examples are so wildly different.
Oh yeah,
like DVD and then Overwatch the FPS and then Stardew the cute game.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And yeah, trying to find that happy medium, it's really tough. And I actually have a clip somewhere. Yeah, I'm a clip fiend. If I'm in somebody's stream, I'm usually clipping. I was in Umbra's stream and she was talking about how, because like pretty much every stream, people will be like, hey, are you going to stream Overwatch? Are you going to stream, whatever game is brand new? And she's just like, I can't, like people want to watch Dead by Daylight. They want to hang out with me while I play Dead by Daylight. And if I do anything else, my stream tanks. And she has an alt account for that reason, I think. So, I've seen her play other games on the alt account, which is really cool. I like it when people can, if they choose, they can play something else. So
can express themselves, through other means.
Oh,
I
totally.
resonate with like the not, feeling that pressure to not stream anything other than DVD.
Mm-hmm. I guess. Oh, go ahead.
People can burn themselves out that way, which is really sad to see too.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand pushing yourself to stream DVD, even like when you don't want to.
Yeah.
But not to the point where you are miserable.
Oh yeah.
It's just not worth it at that point, is it?
Yeah. I feel like you're speaking directly to the way I feel because I was there like a couple of weeks ago. I was like, I'm done with this game. I'm gonna become an Overwatch streamer.
Right.
Like I took a couple of days off and I feel way better.
Right. And after a couple of days, you're like, oh, that would be a bad thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And no, it's the relationship I think probably every content creator has at some point with whatever game is their main. And it's just another thing I was going to ask you too, because like it seems like you like to do a lot of things to keep it fun and interesting. I was wondering if you could tell people, anybody listening or watching this, what are some things you like to do while you're streaming Dead by Daylight to keep yourself and your community entertained and happy?
And when you have when you get to like 6K hours and you know everything about the game basically.
Yeah.
And you need ways to spice it up. So some days sometimes you can do stuff as simple as just open queues, where you let viewers play.
Yeah.
And then there's build requests. You can do random builds. But what I like to do to take it like a step further is come up with like challenges.
Yeah.
I'll like make a new Steam account and family share to it. So I have all the DLC on it. And then I'll be like, hey, can I get to rank 1 survivor without dying on every survivor? Which was inspired by Dowsy.
Right. Yeah.
And I, just challenges like that. And then hosting events is really what I've fallen in love with. Is bringing everybody together. And it's nice to like not play the game too. Like I can just sit there and commentate it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's just like another DVD thing I can do on stream. But then brings the community into.
Oh, totally. Yeah. You've played in tournaments in the past, right?
I love so in the same what we're talking about.
Yeah.
As much as I love hosting things, I like being involved in things.
Yeah.
Like that's why when you asked me to be on here, I was like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
So like anytime I see any like content creator friend or even streamers I don't know, they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna like host this event in a month. Like, come sign up." I'm like in their DMs, like
right on.
Like let me in. I want to play.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a big thing. Like low key, your name has been like circled on my list for the longest time, and I was like, I don't know if I should ask him. I don't know if he'll say yes or if he'll like tell me to F off. I'm just kidding. You know what I mean? Like, there's all these weird narratives we all build in our own heads. And I'm always thinking about that, especially in the creation of this podcast, because a big part of it is inviting people to be on here to talk about their experience with content creation and Dead by Daylight. And a big part of that is being like, just putting myself out there and just being like, hey, do you want to be a part of this? And the people, I would say about 99.9% of the people I've approached have said yes. And the only ones who have said no, they're just like, well, I just don't feel, I'm not a very social person. I don't like talking to people, and I wouldn't feel comfortable in that setting. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. You know, no pressure. Like, I'm not here to, you know.
Right. That's like way better than what you were picturing in your head, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In my head, I'm thinking, oh, this person's going to block me. They're going to write, you know, a twit longer about me and how I approach them to be on their, on the podcast. And I don't know. Weird things that go through our
like
heads.
You kind of, I think it's like I don't think we should be doing this, but we all do it, where we associate a creator. They're like, you know, they're this big.
Yeah.
And then this creator's like this big.
Oh yeah.
So like, I'm not even going to bother talking to them, but at the end of the day, every creator is just a person.
Yeah, it's true.
It's hard to remember that.
It's true. Yeah. And that goes for like all aspects of life. Like I've talked about this on the podcast before a little bit, but I used to be in online film criticism. So I'd go to like film festivals and I'd interview some really cool like filmmakers and actors and stuff. And that's one of the first things I learned. I was like, they're people like me too. They eat tacos and breakfast burritos and complain about the same stuff I do, or they're really enthusiastic about the same things I am. And that goes for content creators, you know. Like I had the King on here last week, and the King was like a dream guest for me. And he just reached out to me, sent me a DM. He's like, hey, I heard you're looking for guests. Like, can I be in your show? I was like, are you serious? Like,
he reached out to you.
Yeah, please.
That's extra cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was like, for me, like a really huge moment. And yeah, if there's any content creators listening, that I can't stress this enough. Like, if you want to get a group together to Swift, if you want to collaborate with somebody else, like way more often than not, the person you're going to approach is going to have a positive reaction, and some really good things can come out of it. So definitely jump out of your shell in that respect.
That's actually something I had to get over really fast with like wanting to dive into hosting events and tournaments and stuff. You know, I DM a million people at once.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here's what I'm doing. Are you interested? And now I've kind of gotten over that fear a little bit.
Yeah.
But I totally get it.
Oh,
like, just send it.
Yeah.
That person probably wants to be involved and they will, or they want to be involved and they can't.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be like a, you know, leave me alone.
Yeah. I'll be out of town, you know, visiting family that weekend, stuff like that. Like, we all have lives, and yeah, like you said, we build these weird narratives in our head where we're like, this person has their audience is like this and mine's down here, and like none of that crap matters, you know. Like, end
like,
of
once
the
we
day,
get here, we're, you know, it equals no matter who.
Yeah. And I've looked through YouTube, and there's a lot of big Dead by Daylight content creators. Like, I'm talking about like top of the top, and they've done like interviews with people who have like less than 1,000 subs on YouTube. I'm like, hey, that's really cool. So that gave me a little bit of confidence too. I was like, yeah, people have done stuff with people who just want to talk and carve out a space in this community. So
it really shows that, like, not like, it's not true for every single creator, but a lot of the time, like your audience size, your numbers, and all that stuff are not a reflection of the value of your content.
Yeah.
Where, you know, like you said, this massive YouTuber is having an interview with a 1K sub YouTuber.
Yeah.
There's a mutual exchange there.
Oh yeah.
Because it's content for everyone.
Yeah. Exactly. And that interview that I discovered, I sat down, I watched it, and I could tell the person that was interviewing the other person was maybe a little bit nervous at the beginning, but once that went away, you could tell like they were just a lot more comfortable, and it was just really cool to witness that. So watching that like over a year ago, that gave me a lot of confidence as well when it came to creating this podcast and reaching out to people. And the craziest one I've had so far is there's one person who I reached out to their business email, and it was like their business manager got back to me, and we exchanged like many emails, but we just couldn't find a time that worked. And I might ping that person again and just be like, "Hey, remember all those conversations we had about maybe getting you on the podcast? I'd still love to have you on there." So
you should do it.
Yeah, and in that case, that person, the manager, easily could have probably did look me up, and probably easily could have just said, no, we're too busy, no thank you, but was in my eyes was making genuine, like, hey, we might have some time in about 3 weeks, touch base with me in 2 weeks and we'll see how it looks. And 2 weeks go by and I'm like, hey, are you free? And they're like, no, we're out of town, and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, gotta aim really high, everybody.
but that's like another example of it being something that they're interested in doing, they just couldn't.
Yeah.
You didn't get blown off or anything.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, it was the person I talked with was a complete professional, really nice, very respectful. Yeah, we just couldn't find the time, and that's okay. I was oh, the other thing I was going to ask you too is, like, when it comes to the platforms that you post on, how do you place priority on one over the other, and how do you like manage your time with that?
Well, I mean, I guess with stream you don't really post, but stream is definitely my number one still, because that's where I've grown, and that's, if I didn't have my stream, I'd be nothing basically. But then TikTok is something that used to be my number one, but it's kind of fading out to be my number one. I've fallen like out of love with TikTok.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I think something's changed recently, right? Because it feels like, and it's not just me, it's like across the board, like the views are down for Dead by Daylight, I feel like.
Man, it's like, I swear I can have this really, like, I can record something off stream, edit it. It could be a unique idea, blop. And then I post a stupid clip from stream that I just cropped for TikTok, 100K views.
That's crazy.
Like, I'm like, why do I even bother with effort on here?
Yeah. That was one of my first ones that popped off, was me just it was a trapper setting traps on one side of the pallet, then set a trap on the other side of the pallet, and I was down like inside a pallet. So I'm like, why is he setting the traps there? And he picked me up, and I'm wiggling, and he's standing in one spot trying not to step in his trap. I wiggle off and run away, and I was like, what was that? And I was like, that was my first 100K plus TikTok. It was like, I think it ended up at like 170 or something. And it was like, there was no effort. There was just like no edits to it, no memes, nothing. It was just like,
right. Like, people are just invested in seeing what happens, I guess. So they stay and the watch time goes up. Yeah, it's hard to figure out why, this great content fails and then this mediocre content as well. But
oh yeah,
at least something's doing well.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, I don't know what it is about TikTok. I've got like we're kind of on the outs, it feels like, and I'm like, should I create another account? But like, I think what I might, if and when I do create another account, it'll be other content. It'll be like talking about movies and TV shows and vlogs. You could try
juggling both, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I was thinking that
it wouldn't feel very good to lose what you've built, right?
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't abandon the one I have now. Like, I'd
Okay.
still post the stuff I have now, but I would just have the other one where I'm like, hey, I went to see this, foreign language film, and here's what I think. Like, I don't think that would vibe with the Dead by Daylight crowd, but I do love like small indie films and Korean films and French films and Japanese films and stuff like that. And uh, so yeah, I think I might just create a separate account for that and do the movie and TV stuff.
So that would be awesome though, because like just hearing you talk about it, you clearly care about that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So like you can make that account and you could probably just ramble about the movie you just watched
Oh
and
yeah.
your thoughts, and
Oh
it'd be more of a creative outlet than being focused on numbers and stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
But that also leads to it being more genuine content,
Oh yeah.
which will probably succeed.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's the tough balance, right? Because you get into a slump on any platform, but especially TikTok. And I think what you're talking about is like when you're chasing those views, you're like, man, this last video popped off. What did I do different? And you're trying to capture that glory again, and you're just like, I think people see through it, right? They see that, you know, this content is just trying to replicate what he did before. Yeah, trying to find that sort of, I guess, passion for what got me views in the past and follows and glory and riches. It's
yeah,
where do you find it?
and then the pressure of everybody tells you got to post 3 times a day and all this other nonsense.
Yeah,
you start worrying about like the quantity of content rather than the quality.
Yeah, it's tough. I've had Jocko on here a couple times, and I've hit him up and been like, "What's your secret?" He's like, "I don't know, man. I just post a lot." It's like he's probably like, in terms of like the content creation aspect of things, he's probably one of like the most savvy people in this space. Like, in terms of, he'll play this weird like independent horror game that has like original NES graphics, and he just crushes it. And it's just like, man, that's so cool. And gets really good TikToks out of it too, which is always fun. Um, Now, I was going to ask you as well, and I think we touched on this a little bit, but like, let's say poof, Dead by Daylight's gone. What game would you move to?
Oh my god, that would be that's actually so difficult to answer.
I know, right?
I mean, I really don't have an answer for that. Like,
Yeah.
man, I would be not devastated because at the end of the day, it's just a game. But it's what I know. It's what I've been doing for so long. I'd be looking at my Steam library, like what in here works. What could I do?
Yeah.
Going to the Epic Games page. What game could I buy? I really don't have an avenue out of Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
I really like Dead by Daylight after all this time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see it go away. I don't even want to have to think about that.
I like that answer. I like that answer because, like, I think there are people in the community. Well, not I think. I know there are people in the community who want this game to go away and who kind of like rip on people for enjoying the game still. And it's like, we're not harming anybody by still having fun playing this game and finding ways to have fun.
You're burnt out, moved on, or whatever. It doesn't that doesn't mean other people can't enjoy it still.
Yeah.
They make an update that you dislike doesn't mean it ruined the game for everybody else. And
yeah, that's the other thing. Make any change in the game, and it's like, I'm uninstalling.
They nerf something on Survivor side. They're like, oh, that's because the killer mains complained, and then vice versa.
Yeah,
it's like, bro, they're just trying to balance it at the end of
the day. Yeah. And also, like, the people who are in the comment section and people like you and me, we're like really hardcore into this game, but how much of the player base is as hardcore as us? Like, in terms of maining this game, playing as many hours as we play every week. And, I would guess a majority of the player base is pretty casual and
Absolutely.
probably doesn't play anywhere near as much as us. And that's not me saying anything bad. That's just, I think that's the way things are. And I think that's why I, not I think, I know this is why behavior should not cater to people like us and be like,
Yeah, like that's a great point. Like
mhm,
the average player probably only has a couple hundred hours in the game.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, they it's probably not their main game. They just
hmm,
play it here and there. You know, they get home from work, they play DVD
yeah,
for an hour,
yeah,
and like they just hope the matches go well for an hour.
yeah, yeah. And they probably don't, but
Right.
who knows? Because like I always tell the story when I first started playing Dead by Daylight. I actually uninstalled because I hated how much there was to it. Like my friend who was really into it, we were playing, we're on comms, and he was like, I think the killer has barbecue and chili, so heads up for that. And I was like, what's that? He's like, they see your aura after they put somebody on a hook if you're a certain distance away. I was like, what's an aura? And it's like, oh, that's like the killer can see you, like where you are on the map and see it as an aura. And I was like, okay. And I was fixing a gen and I ran away thinking I could sprint burst. And I was like, I didn't run really fast. What's wrong? What did I do wrong? I've got sprint burst on. He's like, you're probably exhausted. And I was like, what's exhausted?
By
So
the time
much.
he answers all your questions, you're dead.
Yeah. It's like, I'm like, I'm uninstalling. I hate this dumb game. There's so much to it.
And like especially now, like could you imagine being a new player now
Oh, I
with
can't imagine.
however many survivors and killers there are and
Yeah.
hundreds of perks on each side?
Oh,
And trying
totally.
to and then like even if you don't play killer as a survivor, you got to like recognize certain killer add-ons
Hmm.
and how their power works. And
Oh yeah.
thankfully, I've been playing for a long time, but I do like you said with the casual player base. I think the new player experience is way more important than
Hmm.
the 10K hour player
Oh
experience.
yeah. Yeah. Because so few people will reach that point. And yeah, it's interesting because like to to take it from another perspective, I used to think I was like hardcore into Overwatch. Like I was like really into Overwatch. And then when Overwatch 2 came out, I installed the update and I checked my career profile and I had like 500 hours. And I was like, I thought I was hardcore into Overwatch, but like 500 hours, that's not a lot. Like it's a lot, but it's not, like
Yeah, it depends on the game. Like if you had
yeah.
500 hours in Skyrim, I'd
Yeah.
be like, man, you love Skyrim.
Yeah.
But having 500 hours in any PvP game, like in DVD included, like,
Yeah.
oh, you're still a baby.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
totally.
it's funny how
Yeah.
like depending on the game, it changes that.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause like, a 500-hour killer main is maybe not going to have as much informed opinions of somebody who's got 6, 7, 8K hours. Um, and my viewpoints have changed a ton. Like I remember something happened on my stream I don't like to talk about, and I won't get into the details, but something really icky happened. And at the time, I had about 800 hours in the game. But 800 hours Crow didn't understand the mechanics of what was happening in that game and didn't understand what's right and wrong in the moment. And, it's after, I've got about 3,000 hours now. So now that I've got 3K hours, I can look at that with a different lens and go, oh, yeah, that could have played out differently this way. Could have ran this perk differently. Could have done this differently. But of course, that was for me, that was like about 2 years ago. And it's things change, perspective changes with more experience, with more knowledge in this game. And it's crazy how, like, below 1,000 hours, how that's still a lot of hours,
Yeah,
like,
it's like a lot of time dedicated to the
yeah,
game, but with
yeah,
how much there is to learn.
yeah,
I mean, I guess there's not like a whole lot to learn, but there's a lot to master.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh, totally.
it's
Yeah.
funny you
So,
say that because, like I said, like when I first got into DVD, like 3.5 years ago or however long it's been,
mhm.
I like only cared about playing killer. I didn't like see the fun in Survivor back then.
Okay.
And So like I had like a lot of killer skewed views back then.
Oh yeah.
I think it's really important for people to play both sides.
It is. Yeah.
Well, even if you want to main one side, at least dabble in the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Like nowadays, I'm definitely 50-50. I have my days where I play more survivor, days where I play more killer. But when you play both sides and put a lot of time into the game, I think those are the people that have the most rational opinions on the game.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I think we're touching on this a little bit right now, and in previous talks we've had here, there's an us versus them, killers versus survivors on Twitter and TikTok.
Always.
And the thing is, you can play both roles, and have opinions on both roles. And heaven forbid you speak out against having Unbreakable as base kit, then you're just a salty killer main, and you're the enemy of Dead by Daylight. Like,
yeah, they like invalidate your opinion because because the update is on one side of the game.
Yeah.
But if more people just talked about the game and not Survivor this, killer that, everything would be better.
Yeah.
100%. Like as like a Survivor enjoyer, I can recognize when something is way too strong for Survivor because I play killer.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Exactly. Do you think that's the disconnect? That you think that's why we all have these disagreements in the community, where you get into these situations where people are like, well, you're just a sweaty killer man. And is it just
right? Like you don't know me.
Yeah.
I think people put their own fun first, which is valid because like you bought the video game, you want to have fun in it.
Oh yeah.
But just because it's not going your way doesn't mean things need to be changed to accommodate you.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
Sometimes it's a skill issue.
It's true.
And then on the other side of the fence, sometimes some games of DVD you just can't win. Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's like the RNG factor, right? And I think that's something that we don't really talk. Like some people talk about it. You get maybe you get Cowshed or something like that, and you're Bubba, and they've got incredible tiles with windows and pallets that chain together, and they've got like 5 tiles they can run without you ever having a chance to use your power. And that's the RNG aspect of the game. And a competent survivor will be able to beat you, and it's tough.
And I think one thing that a lot of players need more of is recognizing RNG and like who the killer is and what they brought versus who, like the survivors, what they brought on what map with the RNG that map has. Players will, beat the side that's at a big disadvantage and feel like empowered by that. But I think the best players in the game recognize when things are in their favor or not in their favor.
Yeah.
Like if I were a survivor against Bubba on Fractured Cowshed with all those things you said, like I'd load in and be like, all right, well, we better have a good game or else we suck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And sometimes it happens too. Like you'll be playing the game versus a Sadako, a game that should be over before it starts in theory. But sometimes you just get a really good killer who will just absolutely roll people. And
and it depends on like how much I don't want to say how much fun the survivors want to have, but like are they going to go for plays? Are they going to involve themselves with the killer, or are they just going to like be very focused on generators?
Yeah. Oh yeah. On that topic, what's your stance on the flashlight changes coming up? How you can't lock or save, and the window to save people is now bigger by 0.25 seconds.
So I guess I'll start with the positives. The window being a little bit bigger, that's new player welcoming, which is good. I think a lot of people are too afraid to learn flashlight saves, even though like normal flashlight saves aren't that hard.
Yeah,
they can seem daunting at first.
Yeah,
and so if that creates an experience where players that are more likely to dodge the killer become engaged with the killer, I think that's a good thing for everybody.
Oh yeah,
and maybe like higher level players might not care about hitting flashlight saves just as much, but they will.
Oh
They,
yeah.
they will. So they're still gonna go for him. Like it's fun.
Yeah.
Like who can
Yeah.
deny that?
Oh, totally.
But
No,
then
oh yeah.
locker saves. I I think locker saves are fine. I think
Mhm.
double locker saves are not fine.
Yeah.
Like where they've
Yeah.
got the double locker set up.
Right.
So there was definitely other avenues they could have gone to
Mhm.
fix that.
Yeah.
I kind of understand their perspective where survivors that are capable of locker saving are like so few and far between
Yeah.
when you look at the player base as a whole,
Yeah.
that just getting rid of them, who cares in their
Mhm.
eyes? You know,
Yeah.
there's the people that are mad that they're gonna be mad.
Yeah.
But honestly, they could have fixed like double locker spawns, made it so
Mhm.
like double lockers aren't flashlight savable from both sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, make it so that if you exit a locker, you can't use your flashlight for the next 5 seconds.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, because then you could still do the singles, but you can't do the doubles.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, the update is new player inclusive, so
Mhm.
I'm for it.
Yeah. I think that's a really good take. And I think that's part of the reason why I wanted to get you on the podcast is because I think it's really important for people to see all aspects of updates that come out. And, I think a lot of people who do follow this very closely, they read the patch notes, they read, the PTB patch notes, they check, forums, they're involved in Twitch streams, they watch, maybe they stream. And I think these people maybe just don't really think about the person who, hey, I just bought this because I wanted to play a scary game on Halloween, and maybe I want to play this game some more after
Right.
Halloween. And hey, what's this flashlight do? And maybe they're watching somebody's stream and they see them get a flashlight save, and they're like, "That's a thing? Like, I didn't know that's a thing." And I feel like even me, I've been involved in the community for about a year and a half, maybe two. I feel like there's still stuff that I'm learning, and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know that was a thing." I, there was something recently, I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but there's people who will gatekeep, and I think that's the wrong approach
Yeah,
when it comes to
I'm a locker save enjoyer. I've hit my share of them.
okay.
One thing I wanted to touch on that, actually I forgot to add, is I think
Mhm.
locker saves are way cooler when they're organic.
Yeah.
Like, hey, hop in the locker, I'll get you because the killer's tunneling you. Not,
Yeah.
hey, we brought a dead dog offering and we're all for
Yeah.
going for him and like farming
Yeah.
TikTok clips. Like
Yeah.
that's so lame compared to like
Yeah.
getting one in the moment for like
Yeah.
a clutch play.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But to be so upset about those going away is a very selfish thing.
Mhm.
And I think if that's the difference for you, like if locker saves are going away and you can't have fun in DVD anymore, then like maybe it's time for a break.
Yeah.
Or play a different game or try to
Yeah.
find fun in DVD in other ways.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, I think that the people who do enjoy those, and I've never hit one. I've attempted it once, and it was one of those organic moments where it was a random getting chased. They were injured. They were clearly going to go down. They jumped in a locker, and I failed. I was like, well, that was the first time I tried it, So, um, but I think that what'll happen is survivors will adapt. We always do. You're gonna switch to something else. You're gonna do breakout plays with breakdown, and maybe get Medal of Man involved, or you know something. We might.
Locker grab saves are still a thing.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
like someone's slowly opening a locker and you grab them.
Yeah,
You can still flashlight save that.
that's true. Yeah, yeah. So there's still lots of ways you can interact with the killer and have a bunch of fun. And the thing is, like, they technically did get a buff with that window opening a little bit, and it is bugged in the PTB because, like,
I've seen that.
yeah, people are freaking out. They're like, you start the blind as soon as the pickup animation starts, and they get saved. But that's not how it's going to be when it hits live. So, yeah, I was curious to ask you about that, the flashlight stuff, because that's like the hot thing to talk about right now.
Yeah, that's
where do you stand? Here's the line. Choose one side. I don't think it has to be that way.
Yeah, like you gotta approach it so delicately, because if you're all against it, you're a survivor main, and if you're all for it, you're a killer main.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I took some time to look through TikTok comments, not just mine, but other people's, and that's wild. It's people are out there.
Nasty over something so simple.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And things change, and things get patched in, patched out, and we're still playing this game. So,
well, it's because they make updates.
Yeah.
If nothing ever changed,
yeah,
this game would have been gone a long time ago.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember when they removed the 4-person hatch escape, and I was like, yeah, it's never going to happen to me again. But then I thought about it. I was like, the amount of times that ever happened to me, I could probably count on one hand. Like,
I remember when like I'd be playing killer and I'd see a key in the lobby, I'd instantly like get nervous for the how the match is gonna go. I'm like, I'm gonna kill 2 of them, they're gonna get 3 gens done, and then they're gonna key out.
Yeah.
Then but really, like you said, it didn't really happen that often to get worried about it.
Yeah. I do miss the old hatch. I kind of wish they'd bring it back, because to me that was fun. Like, if you could fix all the gens and all 4 people escape out the hatch, like, that was a fun escape.
Yeah, because at that point, I mean, if all the gens got done, you've earned it more.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Like,
totally.
I never really agreed with partial gens done and then keying out.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, if all the gens are done, the killer's basically lost.
Oh,
like they're getting no kills or they're camping a hook for 1 kill.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just not a fun experience for anybody, really.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do want to be mindful of the time. I always tell people we can, I like to keep things to about an hour, and feel like I could sit here and pick your brain for the next 2 hours. I'll spare you on that. But, the door is always open if you want to come back. I've been doing these panel discussions as well. So if you want to get involved with that, I had Jocko, Slushy, and Sergeant Fidget in the first one. We had really fun time just talking about DBD and content creation stuff. And a few nights ago, I talked with Real Booty Queen and Star Streams, and we had a really good, fun conversation there. So
that's awesome.
I think it's a good opportunity for people to get together and just share ideas and talk about stuff. So
DBD is a game where you can just talk about it forever. There's so many different, what's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on this?
Yeah.
You can go on and on.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I do like to give everybody a chance to plug anything you're working on, whether it's your Twitch, TikTok, your upcoming charity efforts, and your schedule, of course, where people can find you and what times.
So I stream 4 nights a week at twitch.tv/Wispurx. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. EST. And, we just vibe on there. We play Survivor, Killer, talk about the game, talk about nonsense, talk about food every day.
Nice.
But really my biggest project right now is Horizon Onward, and getting that team built and starting our first DBD charity event as a team.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I'll leave links to that and your socials as well in the show notes. So anybody listening, please give Wispurx a follow. We'd really appreciate that. Wispurx, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah, for sure. And anybody listening, if you want to find me, I'm a twitch.tv/The Crow Show. I'm on TikTok and Twitter as well, trying to grow the Twitter. And I stream Tuesday nights, Friday nights, but I might drop Friday nights because it's like inadvertent. It's like, hey, I'm playing in a tournament and I didn't realize it. Like, I've got no slowdowns, so I'm getting 4 hooks and they're leaving, and I feel bad. So, but yeah, Tuesday, Friday nights, usually around 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm one of those West Coast demon hour streamers, and of course, you can find Red Rank Podcast wherever you can find a podcast: Spotify, now YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, just wherever you can find a podcast. Just check us out. And if you can do me a big favor, leave a like and a rating. I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, Wispurx, thanks for doing this. Have yourself a good night, and all the best to you in the future.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night too.